flu, or visit our website.
Two elements, a dip in the jet stream and a big temperature clash. That's the signal of a winter storm.
This season can be dangerous, constantly changing.
A small shift in the rain-snow line, you're expecting sprinkles. You get a blizzard.
24 hours a day means you get weather information in real time.
Subtle changes, huge differences. You've got to be prepared.
This winter, stay with the experts. The Weather Channel, keeping you ahead of the storm. The Weather Channel, brought to you by this cable or satellite provider. You can also get a reliable forecast from the Weather Channel through this radio station or newspaper. Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
The bags are getting loaded and unloaded, and the holiday travel rush is on. But many of you will find the weather will not cooperate, and there will be some delays.
And I'm Bill Keneely here in Chicago at O'Hare International Airport. The wind's starting to slacken. Things ought to be improving somewhat, but major headaches on the eastern seaboard. We'll have details on Weather Center next.
Good morning and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Cheryl Lemke.
And I'm Rick Griffin. Fog and some rain will cause travel headaches in the east for a lot of people on this busiest travel time of the year. The weather hassles in the east will have a ripple effect on air travel all across the country. And that's why our Bill Keneely will be along through the day with live reports from O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. Well, now let's take a look at conditions at some selected cities across the country. New York City is first. You'll have fog, and you'll find the streets damp from drizzle and mist. Fog is also a problem in Baltimore. Now, the showers have ended for Cleveland, but you'll still have cloudy skies and brisk winds. And Orlando, you'll have scattered showers later on today. I'll have the details on the south shortly, but let's start now with the northeast and the Midwest. Cheryl?
Well, you can keep those heavy winter coats way in the back of your closet today because we are looking at some very balmy conditions still across the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. As the winds are streaming up from the south, we're seeing some very mild air surging in through the northeastern corridor. And right now, temperatures holding in the 50s and 60s across most of the northeast. A mild start for Cleveland with 53 degrees, 58 for Pittsburgh, the nation's capital at 58 degrees. 58 as well for Philly, and generally 50s too around Albany, Troy, New York City, Hartford, all the way back towards Boston. So again, a fairly mild start to the day. But unfortunately, all that mild, moist air that continues to flow in through the northeast, it's also setting the stage for some very dense fog. And that truly is our biggest concern that we have this morning. And I know a lot of you are getting a jump start on the holiday, doing some traveling this morning, and perhaps though you may have to still go into work for one more day. But at any rate, if you're traveling by land or by air, be extremely careful because that fog is really shrouding the area. Visibilities remain poor right now around Boston and Worcester, Bedford, New Bedford, Providence and Hartford, all the way down through Washington, D.C. In many cases, visibilities are less than a quarter of a mile. So be extremely careful on those highways and byways. And probably the best thing that you can do is just to use your low beam headlights if you're traveling, and certainly to give yourself enough space between you and the next guy because that fog is really quite soupy this morning. Another concern, though, that we have is the possibility for rain. There's a cold front slicing across the eastern lakes this morning, and that is steadily pulling off towards the east, and already a few showers have been popping up. Nothing too terribly heavy, but there have been some rain-slickened highways this morning around Cleveland, back through Erie and Franklin, Pennsylvania. More scattered showers across the Ohio Valley. Well, what can we expect throughout the day? As the cold front continues to draw closer, a chance for a few more scattered showers. Although at least around Boston and New York City and Philly, I think your best chances of rain will come later tonight and then continuing, unfortunately, for Thanksgiving as all those clouds and moisture continue to stream in across the area. Now today, that fog will be very slow to burn off. And actually, before it has a chance to totally burn off, we'll have more clouds rolling in. And once again, that will give us a chance for more rain. So take along the umbrellas around Buffalo and Syracuse and Pittsburgh. You'll be seeing some sloppy conditions persisting through early this afternoon. Meanwhile, behind our storm system, skies are clearing out, although we've had quite a bit of snowfall in the past 24 hours. Up around northern parts of Wisconsin, around Hurley, we've had reports of 10 to 13 inches of snow, at least a half a foot for the Arrowhead of Minnesota. So watch out for some slick spots on the roads this morning. A few flakes of snow are still flying this morning across the UP, but generally skies are clearing out. And actually not that bad of a day around Omaha and Chicago. You'll be seeing some sunshine, and temperatures, though, will be cooling down compared to how it looked yesterday. Rick?
A slow-moving cold front is crossing the southern states. To the west of the front, cooler, drier air. But east of the frontal boundary, the air mass is warm and moisture-laden. There's fog, extensive low cloudiness, and scattered showers to talk about early on this Wednesday. And the weather map depicts that with a yellow shading indicating where the thickest fog is located, causing travel headaches in Virginia, North Carolina, parts of Alabama, South Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle, as well as around southern sections of Mississippi and southern sections of Alabama, very close to the Gulf Coast. Again, west of the front, the air clears up, the visibility improves, it turns cooler, but in terms of traveling on this day before Thanksgiving, the weather in Texas, most of Texas anyway, and the southern plains should be in pretty good shape. Again, it's chillier to the west of the front, but east of the frontal boundary, check out Miami, 68, 66 in Orlando, and a mild late November morning in Atlanta, 58, 60 in Greenville, and also Anderson in western North Carolina, and 53 with rain right now in Birmingham. It's 65 for those of you in New Orleans, but you can see the temperature drop as the front passes through and the wind shift. So it's down to 45 in Shreveport, 44 in Dallas, and 27 in Lubbock, and a chilly 34 in Oklahoma City. Here's what you can expect on this Wednesday. The forecast for Dallas, partly sunny, 56, mid-50s in Tulsa, cooling down with a mix of clouds and sunshine in Houston. No rain expected, but in New Orleans there could be a shower. There might be one in Atlanta, scattered about, not a washout. Some fog and low clouds to deal with too. Charlotte, a shower possible, and scattered showers across Florida, otherwise variable clouds, peaks of sunshine, upper 70s and low 80s. The satellite picture shows the variable cloud cover across the south, and the radar depicts where the rain is located. We've got some more detail for you to show you the showers. Eastern and western North Carolina near New Bern and west of Winston-Salem. Also some wet highways near Huntsville and also down near Meridian in Alabama and Mississippi respectively. And we have some heavy downpours in South Texas right along the U.S.-Mexican border. Those showers should settle south today. While in the east, spotty showers will persist, and it clears up in Memphis, Little Rock, and also Dallas and Houston. Cheryl.
Well, it's estimated that about 50 million Americans will be traveling by car or plane over the course of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And that's a record number of people expected to travel by air. Well, Chicago is one of the busiest travel hubs in the country, and that's where the Weather Channel's Bill Keneely is stationed to track how the weather is affecting travel. Good morning, Bill. What's the latest?
And good morning to you as well, Cheryl. And I think about 49 million of those are coming through here right now. It's getting busy in a big hurry, and here it is 5:30 Chicago time. But again, things are starting to bustle. And let's check out some of that hubbub. Got a little bus going by here, but a lot of folks are moving through now as things are really getting to crunch time the next couple of hours. I'm sure we're going to see some delays starting to crop up here. The weather actually relatively cooperative though, Cheryl. We have a cloud cover and we have a pretty stiff wind out of the west and northwest. Temperature is probably in the high 30s, but it is dry. I think I saw that radar showing snow up in upper Michigan, and that's about as close as winter is to the Chicagoland area today. Tell you what, let's take a look at some of the delays around the country, though, and namely, we're talking about the eastern seaboard. Initially, the big delays are at JFK Airport in New York City. Visibility here, a quarter mile, but things are looking good, relatively speaking, here in Chicago, as well as Atlanta and also in Denver. Boy, much, much better. Moving on to Boston and Newark Airport, delays here. Boston Logan Airport, visibility a quarter mile. Take it easy coming in on 93. And finally now, moving on to, let's see, LaGuardia and Washington, D.C. This would be Reagan National Airport, and this is right there in the river. Not surprisingly, a fair amount of fog. And incidentally, Dulles Airport down to a quarter mile now, so watch out there on the Dulles Access Road. And I might add also in Virginia, North Carolina, delays are likely to be expected with a very thick blanket of fog now in the Greensboro area. You can see our traffic flowing nicely indoors as well at this early hour. So folks, do your wise maneuvering and call ahead, check with the airlines. Chicagoland, though, looking pretty good after a rough bout of weather with a squall line last night. We're actually in pretty good shape here in the Windy City. So back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Bill. And Bill will be back with updated information every half hour. Well, sometimes perfect growing weather can be bad news if you're in the business of agriculture. Vince Lipari has a couple of examples in this edition of the Bloomberg Money Barometer.
Profits are cut for two top farm equipment makers, and natural gas prices remain steady as the snow comes and goes. Fourth quarter profits fell a whopping 94% for Illinois-based Deere & Company. Perfect growing weather created a crop surplus, which stunted profits for farmers and kept them from buying new tractors and combines. Profits for the equipment maker fell 31% for the year. Deere's rival, Caterpillar, was also burned by low commodity prices. The top construction machinery company warned fourth quarter profits would be 25% less than last year. Caterpillar wanted to raise prices on some machinery, but competition held the increase to less than 1%. Meanwhile, natural gas prices rose 11% when a snowstorm hit the Rocky Mountains, but by yesterday afternoon, the storm moved on to Canada, causing prices to fall back to previous levels. Natural gas prices have dropped 27% in the past 4 weeks because of higher temperatures. And finally, forecasts for above average temperatures in New York, Atlanta, and Cincinnati prompted weather futures contracts to decline yesterday. La Nina, the roller coaster-like weather pattern, could cause high volatility in energy pricing this winter. For the Weather Channel, I'm Vince Lipari with the Bloomberg Money Barometer. Back to you.
And here's your Wednesday forecast. We've got a slow-moving, rather moist front in the east, spotty showers, but ahead of the front, extensive low clouds, lots of thick fog, making travel hazardous, and there are all sorts of delays, not only on the highways, but the airports, too. Meanwhile, west of the front, it clears up nicely in St. Louis, Kansas City, and Denver. The weather much better. But for the northeast and mid-Atlantic, low clouds, a few showers, mist and drizzle, lots of fog, mild temperatures, no snow or ice to deal with as you travel today, 50s and 60s, 60s and 70s across the southeast, but cooling down and clearing up in Dallas and Memphis, as well as Minneapolis after the snow yesterday, 46 this afternoon.
Well, the weather could be a challenge for some holiday travelers. Now we'll check out road conditions coming up in just a moment.
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, my mama, take me home, country roads. Call now and get your free winter travel guide.
Mother Boyle and son Tim demonstrate their Columbia Parker's radial sleeves and zip-out liner. The Columbia Interchange System adapts to any outdoor situation.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Widespread delays in the east on this Wednesday morning, and it's mainly due to fog, low clouds, mist, and drizzle from Boston and Charlotte southward to Orlando in Florida. These are airport arrival delays. Around the rest of the country, things are in pretty good shape, but the major delays in the east will have ripple effects on the rest of the country, with flights getting away from the gates late and then arriving late at other airports like Denver, where the weather's much improved today. The sun will be back out, the wind's light, and the temperatures climbing into the 40s this afternoon. But here's the story in the Northeast. All the airports we depict on this map have significant arrival delays and, of course, probably some departure delays, too, due to the thick fog and the low clouds. Be extra cautious heading to the airport. The fog is dense, and probably the best thing to do is just call ahead to your airline and find out how long the delays are. In most cases, they're more than a half an hour at this point. As we look at the radar, not much rain to deal with in the east today, but it's possible, and it will be mixed in with the fog, and there's going to be mist and drizzle. The one thing that will be absent from the east, though, on this very busy travel day will be snow and ice. We just don't expect that. That's going to be in the upper lakes, and it will be light, also the high mountains of the northwest. But here it's rain showers, and again, no frozen precipitation to deal with. In the south, patchy fog and drizzle, scattered shower activity, while the snows are winding down after as much as a foot fell in northern Wisconsin yesterday. The southwest will be bright and sunny, the northwest becoming windy, rainy, and heavy mountain snows in the Cascades. We'll be right back after this.
Whether you're on assignment in Atlanta, or were transferred to Fort Bragg, or because college life has you moving, or you're wintering in South Florida, or suddenly an apartment is the right thing to do for a while, or you were just expecting guests, you should rent your furniture from Aaron Rents. Aaron rents furniture for every budget and need, delivered the next day, and when you're done, we'll pick it up. Aaron Rents, across the country and on the web. Aaron Rents Furniture. That's who we are. That's what we do.
For all your furniture needs, call Aaron Rents Furniture. Satisfaction guaranteed.
In the insurance business, they say persistence pays off. The book's called Be Cool About Fire Safety. Last year, I passed out about 10,000 copies to kids in Albany County. One went to a little girl who saved her family when their house caught fire. This year, I'm passing out more books. 'Cause in this business, did I mention, persistence pays off. You're in good hands with Allstate. Mine.
To find an agent near you, contact 1-800-ALLSTATE or visit our website at allstate.com.
You feeling any better?
No.
Why not?
'Cause.
Because you haven't taken the medicine yet. Come on, it tastes good.
Yuck.
You're not going to feel any better until you take it.
Yuck.
I trust you to do the right thing.
Soft Chews tablets from Triaminic, the easy-to-give, easy-to-take medicine that dissolves magically in an instant. Soft Chews in 3 delicious symptom-specific formulas.
Hey, these are good.
Triaminic Soft Chews tablets, the right relief without the struggle.
Better? Yeah.
No matter where you go during these Thanksgiving holidays, let the Weather Channel help you plan the trip. With live reports, dependable forecasts, and nightly travel tips from author Chris McGinnis. Watch Weather Center every hour and half hour on the Weather Channel.
Meet Jane and Joe. Both neighbors want to decorate for the holidays. Jane bought grid lights and ice lights from Walgreens. Joe uses last year's lights. Jane uses grid lights because they come in a web of 200 lights that are tangle-free. Joe has a mess on his hands. Jane puts grid lights throughout the yard. They're easy to use and go on in minutes. Joe's approach is awkward and time-consuming, but grid lights are so convenient. Jane finishes her decorating with ice lights. They come in a 26-foot strand of 450 lights. Outdoors and even inside, Jane creates the illusion of beautiful icicles. Best part, grid lights are only $16.99. Ice lights just $19.99 from Walgreens. You can even make them flash, and they meet all UL safety standards. Grid lights and ice lights add a special magic to your holidays with their sparkling beauty. Now, Jane's home is the showpiece of the neighborhood, and she has time to enjoy the holidays. Next year, Joe will buy holiday lights from Walgreens. Supplies of grid lights and ice lights are limited, so order yours now. Brighten the season with holiday lighting from Walgreens.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel. Get the forecast for the next 7 days in your weekly planner.
For experienced, temporary and permanent legal help, the verdict is clear. The Law Registry, a subsidiary of Kelly Services that provides attorneys and legal professionals in all specialties all across America. Kelly Services, 750,000 employees worldwide, just a phone call away. 1-888-GO-KELLY. Kelly Services. Look what we do now.
A good Wednesday morning to you. Let's check out the forecast for your big holiday weekend. And first of all, looking at the jet stream. Well, we can see that jet stream residing way, way to the north, skimming right across southern sections of Quebec. And because it will be so far to the north, that will allow some very mild air to come surging into the mid-Atlantic and the northeastern states. At the same time, though, we have a trough of low pressure being carved out across the central part of the country. It was this storm system that brought some snows to Colorado a couple days ago and some snows for the western lakes yesterday. Well, this storm system will be steadily marching towards the east, and it will bring some cooler temperatures eventually towards the northeast later this holiday weekend. And unfortunately, too, it will bring in some sloppy conditions. Well, let's check out today's outlook now as we zoom in a little bit closer across the country. One of our biggest problems that we have today is very thick fog that will continue to shroud most of the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. And certainly if you're doing some holiday traveling, be extremely careful because visibilities are quite poor and quite hazardous. Besides the fog, another concern, though, will be the rain. As our cold front continues to press in for the west, we'll be seeing the showers flaring up today around Syracuse and Buffalo. More rains drape down towards the southern Appalachians. And we think that over time, that rain will continue to work eastward. And we think the majority of the rain will be holding off until later tonight and tomorrow for those of you in Philadelphia and New York City. And that does not really bode well for the big Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. If you are thinking about heading off for the parade route come tomorrow morning, definitely take along some type of rain gear because there will be a chance for some scattered showers moving in towards New York City. Even for Friday, some lingering showers as another system presses in from the west. That should keep it fairly unsettled up and down the eastern seaboard. Also for Friday, a big shopping day. Well, be prepared for a little wintry mixture, a wintry potpourri for the western lakes. Then yet again, another storm system plows its way across the west with more rain and more mountain snow. And the energy from that storm system spills out across the nation's heartland for Saturday. If you're heading off to the malls around Kansas City, Chicago, or Detroit, take along the umbrellas. All that, though, slips over towards the Great Lakes in the Northeast. And here we go again. Another round of rain and snow for the Northeast, with some lingering snow showers still plaguing the Northeast through Monday and Tuesday. Meanwhile, cool, kind of dry across the south, and very quiet, too, across most of the nation's midsection, all the way westward into California. What about temperatures? Still staying incredibly mild across the east. No need for a heavy coat or a jacket here. Highs in the 60s this afternoon for Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Boston, and New York City. But with the front moving on through come tomorrow, that's when the weather will start to cool down. And will gradually moderate temperatures for the next few days or so. Still quite cold, though, towards the north, but mild 60s and 70s as we head towards the south.
And this weekend outlook is sponsored by FTD. Thanks a lot for joining us. We have some event forecasts like the Bronx Kids Holiday Parade in Chicago. On Saturday, it should be partly sunny for that event and 49 degrees. Chance of showers for the Foods and Feasts of Colonial Virginia in Williamsburg. Also on Saturday, the high a mild 71, and it's going to hit also about 77. That's the forecast. Temperatures rising to the upper 70s for the Daytona Turkey Run in Daytona Beach, Florida, Sunday. There's a slight chance of showers, and it should be windy, dry, and sunny in Pasadena, California for the Pasadena Doodah Parade, 68 degrees. Here's the forecast for you on Saturday. Some snow in the Rockies, some snow for the upper lakes. Showers of rain reach Chicago, Kansas City, maybe New York City, and the Hudson Valley. The south stays dry and mild, 60s and 70s, but a cold beginning to the weekend and also a finish to the weekend in the north central part of the country in the 20s. And here's your Sunday forecast map. Stay with us for your local forecast.
This program was sponsored by FTD.
Look out, motorists. Old man Winter's out to get you.
You're cold and cruel and you don't fight fair. That's okay. See if I can.
No matter what Winter throws at you, Prestone Antifreeze is how you fight back.
Hit me with your best shot.
Kick Old Man Winter in the teeth with the #1 way to fight corrosion and protect your aluminum radiator to 84 below.
Hit me with your best shot.
Get in the Prestone zone so nothing can stop you now.
Now, NASCAR is in the Prestone zone. Prestone is the official antifreeze of NASCAR.
With the AT&T one-rate 7-cent plan, calls are just 7 cents a minute all day, every day.
What about Canada?
What?
Canada.
Yeah, same thing. With the international plan, it's 7 cents a minute always.
What about all the other countries in the world? Japan, Mexico, Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
All right. Every country has its own low rate.
What about France? France.
Same low rate as France.
Great. I'm going to go call France.
Which is right near France.
7 cents to Canada and great rates around the world. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
Shopping for office supplies is easy at OfficeMax. Shop by fax, by phone, on the internet at OfficeMax.com, or the good old-fashioned way, by foot. Whichever way you choose, we go to the max for you.
To test their latest parka, Mother Gert Boyle and son Tim head for the mountains. Columbia Sportswear, one tough mother.
Columbia Sportswear is available at fine retailers everywhere.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
From Tropical Storm Arlene to Hurricane Floyd, this year's hurricane season produced some of the worst flooding in history. Join our experts as they look back at these storms and their impact in Hurricanes 99, Sunday starting at 8 p.m. on the Weather Channel.
Well, many of you are getting ready to hit the airports and the roads, and you will find that the weather is causing a few problems, and that's especially true for air traffic. Fog and rain on the East Coast will create delays in Los Angeles and Chicago.
And the weather word today in Chicago is blustery, but the big delays are back over the eastern states. We'll check out that mild forecast for Wednesday night for the eastern seaboard coming right up.
Good morning and welcome to this edition of Weather Center, sponsored by Lexus. I'm Cheryl Lemke.
And I'm Rick Griffin. Well, Thanksgiving is traditionally the busiest travel time of the year, and it looks like weather will be a headache for many of you traveling across the country, and that's why our Bill Keneely will be along through the day with live reports from O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. Well, now let's take a look at conditions you can expect in some selected cities. Boston, it's foggy this morning. Fog also shrouds Philadelphia. Charlotte, North Carolina starts off foggy. You'll have showers appearing later. And look for scattered showers today in Tampa. I'll have the outlook for the south in a few minutes. First, let's start with the northeast and the Midwest. Cheryl?
Well, we have a very, very mild start to the day all throughout the northeastern corridor. In fact, right now, temperatures holding in the 50s and the 60s, so maybe just a light jacket or sweater needed if you're stepping out this morning. Currently, it's 59 for Charleston, 59 for Pittsburgh, 62, though, for Buffalo, 58 for Burlington, Vermont, 55 for Boston, and temperatures generally mid to upper 50s too around New York City, Newark, Wrightstown, Philadelphia, and for Washington, D.C. Well, indeed, we have some very mild but very moist air, too, that continues to flow in across the Northeast. And unfortunately, that is setting the stage for some very thick fog. Well, the visibilities remain quite poor right now around Worcester and Bradley Field, back over towards around Boston this morning. Very thick fog, too, around Providence and Block Island and New York City. Here we have visibilities less than a quarter of a mile. So be extremely careful whether you're traveling by land or by air, because that fog is really creating some very poor visibilities all throughout the northeastern corridor. Besides the fog, though, another concern that we have this morning is the rain. There is a cold front poised just to our west, and that cold front is steadily marching towards the east, spreading a little band of showers this morning. Nothing really heavy, but it will be making for some rather slick spots on the road, so be prepared for that. We're seeing some rain now flaring up across extreme southwestern New York State around Lake Chautauqua. Rains back over towards Erie and Franklin, Pennsylvania. Some sloppy weather, too, around Youngstown on into Zanesville, Ohio. And all this moisture, again, is working its way in from the west. So what can we expect throughout the day? As the cold front does draw closer, we'll be seeing more scattered showers flaring up to the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. However, for those of you in New York City and Hartford, I think your best chances for rain will hold off until later tonight and tomorrow. That's when the cold front will be bearing down right on top of you. So again, for today, what can we expect? Well, lots of fog this morning. And actually, before the fog really has a chance to totally burn off, we'll have more clouds and moisture flowing in. Those clouds will be thickening and lowering. And those clouds will eventually be yielding some rain. So take along the umbrellas around Syracuse, Ithaca, Elmira, Buffalo, all the way down through the Ohio Valley. You'll be seeing some scattered showers persisting through the afternoon. Now, behind our front, those skies will start to clear out. Although still this morning, some lingering flakes of snow around the western lakes. And I'll tell you what, we had quite a bit of snow that came down at least over the last 24 hours for northern Wisconsin. Some spots picking up 10 to 13 inches of snow. Back through Minneapolis, we had about 3 inches. And although it's not really snowing right now, we still have some residual effects from that snowfall. So watch out for a few slick spots on the roads at least for the next few hours. Again, some spotty sprinkles, some light snow flurries for the western lakes, but that's tapering off. And overall, much of the Midwest finally enjoying some sunshine this afternoon. A cool afternoon, though, so grab a heavier coat. It'll be 52 for Omaha, 47 for Chicago, and only 42 for Minneapolis. Rick?
Well, we have a cold front crossing the southern states on this Wednesday. Behind the front, cooler, drier air can be expected, but in advance of the front, plenty of moisture in the atmosphere, so there's patchy, dense fog, mist and drizzle, and some shower activity to deal with, too, early on this Wednesday. The weather map depicts that. From Virginia and Kentucky and Tennessee, southward across Alabama, Mississippi, and the Sunshine State of Florida. Now, west of the front, a big fair weather system is moving in. So, for example, in Dallas, the sun will be out at least partially today, and it's going to cool to afternoon highs in the 50s. Also a cooler day in Little Rock and Memphis, but plenty of mild, moist air out in advance of the front. Take a look at current temperatures, for example. It's 64 in Jacksonville. It's in the 60s in Charleston and just a little below the 60-degree mark, even as far inland as Greenville and Atlanta, more typical of daytime highs here in late November, even before sunrise this morning. 53 in Birmingham, 54 in Mobile, 66 right now with a wind off the mild Gulf of Mexico in New Orleans, Louisiana. But here's the temperature drop across the frontal boundary. The wind shift to the west, and it drops into the 40s in Shreveport, Dallas, and Austin, and to the 20s this morning in Lubbock, Amarillo, and right around freezing in Oklahoma City. Here's what you can expect today if you have travel plans or other outdoor activities. A dry day in the Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth. Tulsa 2, Memphis and Nashville clearing up. There's a chance of showers, especially this morning in New Orleans, and through the day in Atlanta, scattered showers, not a washout. The fog and low clouds will be a story, too, in North Georgia, the Carolinas. In Florida, variable cloud cover, spotty showers here and there. And on the morning radar, we do have some shower activity on the Atlantic side of Florida, in North Carolina and a few spots near the coast, and on the east slopes of the southern Appalachians. And here's some wet weather activity, Huntsville coming into Birmingham shortly, and in deep South Texas. The forecast map, spotty showers, low clouds, some hazy sun here while it clears up as high pressure moves in to Memphis, Little Rock, Shreveport, and Dallas, highs in the 50s. Cheryl.
Well, it's estimated that about 50 million Americans will be traveling by car or plane over the course of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. And that's a record number of people expected to travel by air. Well, Chicago is one of the busiest travel hubs in the country, and that's where the Weather Channel's Bill Keneely is stationed to track how the weather is affecting travel. Good morning, Bill. How's the weather shaping up?
I'm doing fine, Cheryl. A little cold out here, but I'll get used to it, trust me. It's about 38, 39, still kind of cloudy, but we are expecting brightening skies as the day wears on. And by the way, you talked about all the people hitting the highways and byways. Here in Chicago alone, better than 250,000 people should be heading out today alone if you combine O'Hare International and Midway Airport. And once again, seems like about a half of them are here already today. So it is getting busy, folks, and plan accordingly. There's some rather notorious traffic problems here, namely around the Hillside Stranglers, they like to call it, up around I-290 and I-88. So give yourself a lot of allowance time-wise, and it is busy now. I want to talk about some of the cities for tonight, too, Cheryl, and namely some of the cities on the eastern seaboard, that is, where it's going to stay very, very balmy. Check out New York, foggy, near 60. A lot of folks heading in town, checking out the blowing up the balloons tonight on Broadway. And again, take it easy here as well as in Philadelphia. Big parade in Philly tomorrow, likewise, and it will be foggy on Wednesday morning, and likewise, I think, on Wednesday night. And checking out Boston, I believe these forecasts, by the way, should all be for Wednesday evening now. Fog and sprinkles and upper 50s. And one more now for good measure. We'll head over to the areas around, let's see, we're going to go to Chicago. And around Chicago, again, it's clearing out as the day wears on. For tonight, clear in upper 30s. And once again, if you're heading into the Loop area, bad news, the ice skating not open yet. The weather not cooperating. Hopefully they'll be skating on the ice by early next week. And checking out the indoors again, a lot of folks are moving through very patiently, I hope, as it is rather hustling and bustly inside there today. So allow time and you'll get to your destination and have a terrific holiday weekend. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Bill. Of course, Bill will be back with more updated information every half an hour. In the meanwhile, though, let's check out your Wednesday forecast, and with all the details, here's Rick.
It's clouds, mist and drizzle, and a few showers in the east. Of course, thick fog is going to cause some weather headaches along the eastern seaboard most of the day, but especially this morning. It clears up as we head west, like in St. Louis, Chicago, and Denver. After your snow the last few days, highways are in much better shape, and no anticipated aircraft travel delays out of Denver International, though arrival delays from some of the East Coast airports are possible. There's going to be some ripple effects from the bad weather in the east all day long. Let's take a look at our specific forecast quickly. New York, mild today, no snow or ice in the northeast, a mild day in the southern states too, and cooler in Chicago, highs today in the 40s.
Stay tuned, we'll check out traveling conditions coming up next.
This program was brought to you by Lexus, where even the pursuit is exhilarating.
Buy a certified pre-owned Lexus with a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Mike, it's 3 a.m. What are you doing out there?
You won't believe you actually own one. Surprisingly affordable. Only at your Lexus dealer.
When your children are ready for college, will your college fund be ready for them? Prudential can help you be sure. Millions of parents plan for their children's education with the guidance of a Prudential professional. Talk with Prudential, so you'll be ready when the first tuition bill arrives, whether it's a long way off or just around the corner.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel. the Michelin Travel-Wise Report, brought to you by Michelin and your local Michelin dealer.
Check out traveling conditions, and unfortunately for holiday travelers, it could really be a major nightmare for the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. Just like we've seen over the last few mornings or so, fog continues to be a major nuisance. Right now, from Boston to New York City through Baltimore and Washington, D.C., visibilities are quite poor. We've had many cases where the visibilities have dropped to less than a quarter of a mile. Be extremely careful if you're traveling across the New York Thruway, maybe over portions of the Massachusetts Turnpike and the Danbury, Connecticut 2 area. Very, very thick fog continues to shroud that region. And this morning, one of our trouble zones will be New York City itself for more very dense fog, and that fog very slow, very stubborn to burn off. Throughout the day today, too, we're also watching a front moving in from the west, spreading in some scattered showers. Winds picking up around the Great Lakes and the Northwest. Again, if you're traveling today, the weather going downhill for the Northeast, more rains picking up for the Pennsylvania Turnpike and for the New York Thruway.
This program was sponsored by Michelin. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Thank you. Michelin tires are available at a dealer near you. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Experience it. REI.com. The biggest outdoor store on the net.
The biggest outdoor store on the net.
LandsEnd.com presents Live Online Personal Shoppers.
Hi, this is Jill from Lands End Live. I'm looking for a sweater. How about fine gauge cotton? Or maybe cashmere? How'd you do that?
Your own personal shopper, only at LandsEnd.com.
Buy a certified pre-owned Lexus with a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
Mike, it's 3 a.m. What are you doing out there?
You won't believe you actually own one. Surprisingly affordable. Only at your Lexus dealer.
Good morning. It's time now for your Weekend Outlook, which is sponsored by PlanetOutdoors.com. And let's check out the forecast for some big events. The Bronx Kids Holiday Parade being held this Saturday looks pretty good. Some sunshine. Temperatures chilly, though, so take along a heavier coat. Meanwhile, the Foods and Feast Festival being held in Williamsburg, Virginia, could be a passing shower, so you may want to take along some type of rain gear. Same story, too, for the Daytona Beach Turkey Run being held on Sunday in Florida. Here, too, we could see a few spotty showers flaring up a little bit later this weekend. Well, the forecast for Saturday indicating some sloppy weather returning to the Northeast. More lingering rains, we think, around Williamsport, maybe around Philly, New York City, and Boston for Saturday. And some sloppy weather, too, gearing up for the nation's midsection. So if you're making plans to be heading off to the shopping malls, doesn't look like it's going to be really a nice day at all across the nation's midsection. From Chicago through Omaha back towards Detroit, looks pretty messy for Saturday. For Sunday, though, things will be improving across the heartland. Still some lingering snows for the Great Lakes, and a new storm system enters the picture for the Pacific Northwest. Cool across the north, but unseasonably mild to the south with lots of 60s and 70s.
This program was sponsored by PlanetOutdoors.com. Get on, gear up, get out.
PlanetOutdoors.com. Our mission to make contact with the lost tribe of civilization leads us high into the concrete canyons. The team soon attracts the attention of the palest of the lost tribe clan, the cubicle people. Drawn by the glow of our website, they quickly learn how to gather the tools necessary to survive in a world without walls. It's just as we theorized. There exists a basic human need for the latest outdoor gear. PlanetOutdoors.com. Get on, gear up, get out.
Winter storms can be dangerous, constantly changing.
You're expecting sprinkles. You get a blizzard.
Subtle changes, huge differences, but you've got to be prepared.
This winter, stay with the experts, the Weather Channel, keeping you ahead of the storm.
It's revolutionary. It's state-of-the-art. It's the wind tunnel by Hoover in a model that's actually self-propelled, forward and back. It's so easy to use, it almost works by itself. Watch. Tests show wind tunnel picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright at any price. Call now and this self-propelled wind tunnel can be yours for just 5 easy payments of only $79.99. And there's more. Our super stretch 20-foot hose, an agitator on-off switch for bare floors, and unlike bagless brands that use dirt cups, which are messy to empty, Wind Tunnel has a convenient and clean allergen filtration system. Act now, and we include all these extras, a $50 value, free. It's all yours for just 5 easy payments of only $79.99. Call now. The self-propelled wind tunnel. If you want clean, deep down, you want Hoover.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Heavy rain, heavy snow in the forecast for this Wednesday. Strong winds will be blowing through the Great Lakes region. And in the east, scattered showers, mist, drizzle, and patchy, very thick fog causing some major travel headaches on this day before Thanksgiving, one of the busiest travel days of the year. Stay with us for frequent updates on the very poor visibility, the tough slow and go traveling on the highways, and the significant delays at the airports all along the eastern seaboard during the day today. It's going to be the worst this morning. Things will improve as the day progresses, but right now just about every significant airport from Virginia northward through Boston has delays in arriving and likely in departing flights too, and it's going to have a ripple effect across the nation. So if aircraft leaving late from New York City are going to be late getting into Denver and even in Los Angeles, where it's going to be nice and sunny on this day before Thanksgiving with some excellent traveling weather through most of the Southwest today. Here's the story on the current surface map. One of a very heavily moisture-laden atmosphere in the east in advance of this cold front. West of the front, though, the air dries out and it clears up nicely in Kansas City, also in Denver, where the snow fell heavily a couple of days ago. But today should be sunny, the wind's light, and an excellent travel day around the mile-high city. Oh, a few patches of slush and ice will be on the secondary roads the first half of the day. Dry weather in the southwest, but in the northwest, there is a very energetic, very moist and very warm Pacific Ocean storm system on the way for you as the day unfolds. Back to the northeast, though. Here's the fog. Anywhere in and near the yellow shading, patches of very dense fog to get safely to work or school this morning, or if you're traveling, starting your holiday travel early on this Wednesday, give yourself some extra time to get to your destination because visibility will be highly variable. Travel conditions hazardous because you may not be able to see the car in front of you when it's actually no more than 100 feet away in some cases. So slow down, keep your headlights on low beam. Rain in the east will be mainly light, though there are a few scattered moderate showers in the northeast over Maine, but it's mainly light rain, mist and drizzle to deal with, along with the patchy fog banks. Rain here in North Carolina along the coast and along the east slopes of the Smoky Mountains. And in Florida, we have that easterly flow off the Atlantic, spotty showers for you. No rain in Atlanta yet, but we do have a slow-moving frontal boundary right here. That's kicking up some showers in Mississippi, Alabama, and south central sections of Tennessee, and eventually these showers may move east into the Atlanta metro area as the day unfolds, but it's not going to be a washout. Should be scattered light shower activity for the most part. The heaviest rains across the country now, South Texas and the coastal waters of the Gulf of Mexico, where we have some heavy thunderstorms and occasional lightning. Now through the Great Lakes, the rains are tapering off. The snows are ending in the upper lakes. Yesterday, by the way, about a foot of snow fell in northern Wisconsin, but those snows have ended and temperatures should moderate quickly with the snow melting and settling pretty quickly today. Here in the southwest, no precipitation to be experienced, we think, while in the northwest, here comes the heavy cloud cover. The advancing storm system is a wet storm. It's a moist atmosphere with a flow off the Pacific Ocean. It's also going to be a windy storm, and while the snow levels will be down at the pass levels the first half of the day with heavy snow, as the southwest winds kick in, warm Pacific Ocean air will move in, rising the snow levels. So heavy snow and Snoqualmie Pass initially, then heavy rain on the heavy snow this afternoon. A very slushy situation. Down in the valley locations, of course, rain heavy at times. Seattle, Portland, the Puget Sound region, and the Willamette Valley. Looking at the southwest, it's high and dry for you travelers around the Four Corners on Interstate 40 and I-15 in Utah. So the heaviest rains and snows in the northwest, lighter rain activity in the east. And that's one of the good aspects of the weather for you travelers. It's just so mild, it's all liquid precipitation. There's no snow or ice to deal with from the Appalachians eastward. It's the mist, the drizzle, the patchy, thick fog. Look at New York City, 58, Atlanta 57, while Denver is a crisp 14 degrees right now, but you're headed for the 40s before the day is finished. So it's mild and kind of damp in the east, I guess you could say, and it dries out through the nation's midsection. That's in the forecast through Wednesday evening. Here's the situation in the east. Fog, low clouds, scattered showers, clears up in Memphis and Dallas today, a cool day in Denver and also in Omaha.
Charlotte, where are you? The meeting started.
The world doesn't stop for the flu, but you do. Did you know there's something you can do for the coughing, fever, chills, the body aches that can make you miserable for weeks? Your doctor can prescribe a pill that attacks the flu virus itself, not just the symptoms. As soon as flu symptoms start, call your doctor for information about prescription pills with the power to beat the flu faster, so you can feel better faster.
Do rich people deserve more space than the rest of us? Was technology meant to improve their lives alone? Do the stars shine for their eyes only? Introducing the special edition Century 2000. It's the first limited edition that isn't limited to the rich.
And during Buick's Countdown to 2000 event, get this special Millennium Package offer.
The new Century 2000 by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
Welcome to the home of the co-op of growers who make Florida's natural premium orange juice. They own the land, the trees, and the company. So they know the secret to making great juice is to do nothing. Nothing to compromise the orange's natural sweetness. Nothing to rush the ripening process. And while this may not make for much excitement around town,
not yet,
it does make for one great tasting orange juice. Florida's natural. Taste the difference.
You shouldn't have. I didn't. You shouldn't have. I spent 2 minutes, 2 whole minutes, 2 minutes shopping for your gift. And it was so pleasant getting credit for a present that was really super easy to give. Thanks to Amazon.com. I don't mean to flaunt it, but it's just the thing you wanted, and it only took 2 minutes.
2 elements, a dip in the jet stream and a big temperature clash. That's the signal of a winter storm.
This season can be dangerous, constantly changing.
A small shift in the rain-snow line, you're expecting sprinkles, you get a blizzard.
24 hours a day means you get weather information in real time.
Subtle changes, huge differences, you've got to be prepared.
This winter, stay with the experts. The Weather Channel, keeping you ahead of the storm.
The Weather Channel, brought to you by this cable or satellite provider. You can also get reliable forecasts from the Weather Channel through this radio station or newspaper. Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Dense fog in the Northeast could create travel problems at many airports today.
And when the fog eventually goes away, light showers are going to replace it. New York, you're off to a foggy start and expect the cloud cover to linger. We've had 2 days of that now. Looks bad, but it's going to feel great with highs in the mid-60s.
And will your holiday travel plans be affected? We're going to tell you more about some of the airport delays and your Thanksgiving forecasts in a live report from Chicago's O'Hare Airport. That's all ahead in this edition of Weather Center. Good morning. It is 7 Eastern and 6 Central, and it is Wednesday, November 24th. I'm Heather Tesch.
And I'm Marshall Seese. Thanks for joining us. The storm in the Midwest is gone, and now it's moving toward the Northeast. Looks like that may be good news tomorrow for the parade, though.
Yeah, we're going to see some problems out there, though, today for a lot of folks that are trying to get out there. I know many of you are heading out the door, some of you to work, but a lot of you, of course, are going to be heading off to Grandma's house or doing some traveling either by car or by plane. And, of course, the big story today is the travel. For that, we're going to turn now to Dennis Smith, and we're going to get a check on some of the conditions out there.
Well, the big holiday travel time now, and we've got a few weather problems that may affect your travel plans. Fog in the Northeast, that's going to create a ripple effect at the airports and cause some delays all up and down the Northeast corridor, anywhere from areas of Boston all the way down to D.C., so plan on that. A few showers are moving through the Ohio Valley. We'll focus in on that, as well as a stormy northwest picture once again. But I guess the big news is, as we continue to cover you like a blanket, all the activity going on nationwide for the next several days to help you out in your travel needs. And we're going to focus on that over the next couple of minutes, including airport delays and a live report from Chicago O'Hare Airport. Right now, here's Marshall and Heather.
And we're going to take a tour of some of the areas that are affected this morning by either rain or fog, starting in the northeast, where we have both conditions. You can see some of the rain moving from the Ohio Valley, stretching eastward, and spotty conditions closer to the coast, but a lot of fog around again this morning.
Sure is, and that rain extends southward toward the Gulf Coast. But look at that blanket of fog and low stratiform cloudiness along the mid-Atlantic down through Florida. That means fog. Fog is definitely a problem, southern New England and the mid-Atlantic coastline, and is going to create havoc at some of the airports, it looks like, this morning. I'll have complete details about the South in a minute. We'll check in with Dennis Smith again in a few minutes, too. First, let's go to Heather for a look at that foggy northeast.
And in the northeast, we have this fog around this morning. As we were just pointing out, it's going to cause a lot of travel problems out there. Temperatures mild side this morning, so that certainly isn't going to be a problem as far as temperatures and getting out there. But again, the fog will play a role in slowing many of you down. We also have areas of some drizzle coming down. We're seeing some of that in New York City this morning. Don't be surprised to see some of that in Philadelphia or Washington, D.C. as you head out. Spotty activity, some light showers sprinkled through here, and then we have a heavier band through here where we have our frontal system that'll continue to march in this direction. Again, you can see some of the areas where we're picking up some of those showers. A lot of this low cloud cover in here. This is the indication of some of the fog that's around. And then the sprinkles that are spotted and dotted throughout here, that's going to be a bit of a nuisance, but I think the fog is really going to be the bigger problem for many of you through this region today, because it's going to be so thick. It's down to, at JFK, about a quarter of a mile. Philadelphia, you're down to about a half-mile visibility this morning, and we will see this fog persisting throughout the day. Now, add to that, we have some of this rain through here. Buffalo, you're picking it up. If you're traveling on I-90, it's going to be tough going. You can also see it's headed toward Rochester this morning. Jamestown, you have the rain coming down. Youngstown, Pittsburgh, it's all headed through here. So you're going to have some tough conditions here for a little while as we see some of this activity coming down. Now, add to that, we're looking at the rain and the fog, and guess what it's leading to? Travel delays. All the airports through here, we're looking at delays. There may be some cancellations. It's something that you will want to check on if you're doing some traveling today. And we will continue to monitor this throughout the day, because as this front approaches, you're going to continue to see quite a bit of moisture, not only that fog, but more of these showers starting to pop up through the region. Good news is, as we head into the evening, we're going to start to see this front pushing through. By tomorrow morning, we'll see some improvement in places like New York City and into Boston. And you can see some of the areas of fog again today that'll be persistent. Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., areas of rain as well. It's going to be tough going for you. So it's going to be a rough one out there in the northeast. Of course, that's not the only travel problem out there. We're going to have delays ricocheting around because of some of the problems out there in the northeast, and the fog in the northeast could present a big problem at many of the airports throughout the country as you head on your travel destinations throughout Thanksgiving. We're going to turn it over now to Dennis Smith to get the latest on the travel conditions. Dennis?
One of the busiest airports in our country is Chicago O'Hare Airport, and a lot of travelers going through there right now. And in fact, to report live on what the situation is from that location, our own Bill Keneely. Bill, how's it looking this morning?
I tell you what, Marshall, it is controlled chaos out here right now. We have all sorts of shenanigans going on. People are coming and going, and believe me, everybody's trying to get there pronto. I advise everybody, take it easy, though. If it's not the airport itself, it's the roadways. And Marshall, you know them well, the Tri-State, the East-West Tollway, 290. It's just a mess out here, so please plan accordingly. And the weather actually is pretty cooperative. There is some wind out here. It's still cloudy, temperature in the upper 30s, but all in all, not too bad. Let's take a look at some of the delays out there around the nation, Marshall. At this early hour, as you might surmise, the big delays are on the eastern seaboard. JFK Airport visibility at last check about a quarter mile. Chicago O'Hare, no delays, at least no weather delays. Atlanta and Denver in pretty good shape as well. Moving on now, we have some other delays to talk about, primarily in the middle Atlantic area. Boston, northeastern delays now, so take it easy inbound to Logan. And once again, at Newark International Airport, delays can be expected. Use caution on routes 1 and 9, and also the Jersey Turnpike. And sliding down into the Washington area now, also delays out at Reagan National Airport, right there on the Potomac. And likewise around LaGuardia Airport, delays can be expected, so take it easy on the Grand Central Parkway. Inside, we look at the American Terminal, and once again, folks are moving along to and fro. A lot of hubbub in there. Take it slow and easy, and be realistic about it all, folks. You're going to get there, and trust me, I think Most, if not all, are heading south, and it's going to be a whole bunch warmer in Florida, for instance, than it will be here in Chicago, projecting a high in the upper 40s, which is actually pretty close to being on target after a very balmy period, Marshall. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Bill Keneely reporting to us live from Chicago Airport.
Sorry, Dennis.
You're welcome. Let's focus in on the very latest across the country with Marshall.
By midday, the eastern portions of the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida are going to see some scattered showers today, but we also have a major problem with some of the fog in the southeast. Here's the way it looks out there. You can see the fog very evident on this picture. Lots of low clouds along the Carolina coast southward to Florida. Now, in some cases, this is not hampering any of the travel efforts this morning on the roadways, but it will be on the roadways, but it will be at some of the airports because there's going to be some delays from this low stratiform kind of condition also. Out here to the west, Alabama and Mississippi, that's where the southern end of the front is lodged, and it's not going to move very much at all to the east. In fact, we're going to see rain showers lingering about in Alabama and Mississippi, probably hardly even making it into Georgia at this point in time or into the Carolinas. The southern end of the front got some rain down around Brownsville, Texas, and as you take a look out of Birmingham, Alabama, there's just light showers now scattered to the west of Huntsville and north of Meridian, Mississippi. So if you're traveling out of Birmingham and you're heading north, visit somebody in Tennessee today, Interstate 65 just might be a little bit wet for you. If you're traveling south on Interstate 20, you're probably going to be under some overcast skies, but probably not as much rain. Brownsville, Texas has had its share of problems this morning with some rain that persisted all night long, even some flash flood warnings earlier today. Much of the rain is off the coast now, but still the valley areas of South Texas got some substantial rain overnight. This front will not move much to the east. In fact, low pressure was going to develop on it in the next 24 hours or so on Thanksgiving Day, and then that's going to move to the northeast, and that'll bring a greater threat for showers into the southeastern part of the country. Midday today, front just edges into North Georgia, stalls out. Easterly flow keeps the rain showers scattered along the Carolina coast and in Florida. Temperatures, not all that big a problem today. They're going to be rather mild for this time of year. Heather?
Well, thank you. And as we push through the day in the upper Midwest, we will see some improving conditions over yesterday in some areas. Not as much snow to contend with today. Of course, kids love it, but sometimes can be kind of tough if you're doing some traveling. And I know a lot of you are. Look at some of the cloud cover. It's still around, but we will see improvement. We will see the sunshine breaking out in places like Minneapolis and Chicago as we continue to push through the day, and we will be seeing some improvement as far as that goes for us. We'll gradually start to see some high pressure building into this region for us. Temperatures for this time of the year, they're not bad at all. 30 in Minneapolis right now, 37 at Green Bay, 39 in Chicago. You notice, though, that they are cooler than they were yesterday, and you can see some of that colder air working its way in behind our frontal system. Here's where we're headed for today. Again, we're going to see increasing sunshine, 42 for you for that high in Minneapolis, Chicago, about 48 for that high temperature, 52 for you in St. Louis, 50 for you in Kansas City, and Omaha's looking at a high temperature, topping out around 51 today. Again, the more inclement weather, the tougher weather, is going to be in the northeast and the mid-Atlantic where we have some of the rain around. We also have quite a bit of fog around this morning, and that too is going to be causing some problems out there if you're going to be doing some traveling. And, oh, go ahead.
Travel, a big problem today.
Yes.
Shopping may be a problem on Friday. We're going to cover the forecast for both those.
We're going to have that coming up. Dennis Smith will be back. He's going to give us a lot more details on what kind of problems you might encounter if you are doing some traveling today. And of course, we'll always take a look at your local forecast this time, so stick around.
I'm sorry, he's gonna beat it.
Hickory Farms, something to celebrate. Buy in the store or from home.
Charlotte, where are you? The meeting started.
The world doesn't stop for the flu, but you do. Did you know there's something you can do for the coughing, fever, chills, the body aches that can make you miserable for weeks? Your doctor can prescribe a pill that attacks the flu virus itself, not just the symptoms. As soon as flu symptoms start, call your doctor for information about prescription pills with the power to beat the flu faster, so you can feel better faster.
This is a cordless tool. This is the Cordless Wizard. It's powerful, it's portable, so there's no problem the Wizard can't fix.
I got that.
The Wizard, powered by Bursapac, built by Black & Decker.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Good morning and thanks for joining us here at the Weather Channel. It is 14 minutes past the top of the hour on this Wednesday morning when a lot of folks are doing some traveling.
A lot of folks are doing some traveling. A lot of folks doing some traveling Sunday coming back too, and we're all getting ready for Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of preparations out there. Folks are going to be having some tough conditions for some areas trying to get there. But we will see some better conditions in other places.
There's a lot of fog and a lot of rain in the Northeast. Many of you watching right now probably sitting at an airport someplace. So let's take it to Dennis Smith right now. He'll have a detailed briefing for you on travel conditions this morning.
Over 28 million people are expected to travel over 100 miles over this weekend period. And for a lot of folks, it seems like it's all happening right now. And there are some delays around the major airports across the country due to fog, low visibility, low clouds, and also just the sheer volume of all these people. There are some delays up and down the eastern seaboard from Orlando all the way up into the Boston area. The major hubs in the Northeast, all of them are reporting delays. Now, that could be anywhere from a few minutes to a half an hour. Please be patient, follow the instructions you're given, and we'll all get there safely. But the weather will be a factor as we move into the next 24 to 36 hours, so plan on that. Take along a good book. Look at the radar satellite presentation. Stormy weather northwest, have a narrow band of rain, but the fog in the northeast continues to be the main problem. Quick check at some radars. The overall view in the northeast is not too bad. We do have some scattered light showers that continue in and around Boston, but they are light and they are widely scattered. Similar story around New York City, just a few spits of rain. A more organized area in western New York from Rochester all the way down to the Pittsburgh area, and that will continue to slide eastward during the day all the way down into areas of Kentucky and Tennessee. Fog continues to be the main problem, though. Poor visibilities. Driving on the major interstates will need extra care in those locations. Wet weather, a few showers, more likely in the Pacific Northwest. Not expecting any major problems with thunderstorms, that's good news, but some windy conditions will continue to buffet the Northwest and in around the Great Lakes. Again, fog and rain will be a factor. Drive carefully and slowly in areas of the Northeast. Few scattered showers southeast. Plains should be in great shape with the exception of the UP of Michigan, and in the Pacific Northwest, a few rain showers from Seattle to Portland along I-5. Get there safely. We will be your authority to keep you informed on your travel conditions and how the weather may impact that. Now, to find out what's going on in your forecast, here's Heather.
Well, and today we have some cooler air in the north and behind our front that pushed through, but still high temperatures today. Aren't that unusual for this time of the year? In fact, many places are actually seeing temperatures that are still a little bit above the average. As far as where we're going for today, what we're going to be seeing, what we're heading into, it is going to be rough going in the mid-Atlantic and in the Northeast today. We have some showers around and, of course, fog. That's the big problem today. We're going to see a lot of that through here. We already have numerous delays out there at the airports. Looks like we'll be seeing more of those throughout the afternoon. It's sort of a ripple effect. Once you start to see delays here, you're going to see them spreading throughout the country. A little bit of wraparound snow left in the UP of Michigan as we push through the midday hour. That'll continue to pull away as we head our way into the early evening. Eventually, this is going to sort of scour out some of the showers and the fog. So you'll see some improvement in New York City and Boston as we head into tomorrow morning. And of course,